Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thousands of Yeshiva University's friends and family members are following today's commencement online. We encourage you to post photos to our Facebook page or to tag comments on Twitter with the special hashtag YUGrad18 to share these precious moments with our global community. We apologize for the delay in time due to traffic, which obstructed the ability of our faculty to be here earlier. And of course, nobody wants to lose their faculties. Baruchim Habaim B'Shem Hashem. Blessed are those who come in the name of God. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your complete attention, please. Welcome to the 87th Annual Commencement Exercises of Yeshiva University. The academic procession is now about to enter. Please take your seats and kindly remain seated throughout the procession. We ask that you kindly silence all cell phones and mobile devices, and we thank you for your cooperation. The academic procession is now beginning. Please remain seated until all the members of the procession are seated. The undergraduates and candidates for master's and doctoral degrees are about to proceed down the aisles. Kindly be seated. Members of the faculty are now entering. Bruchim habayim. The Alumni Reunion classes of 1958 and 1968 are now entering. The university deans and directors, student representatives for the graduate schools, and members of the administration are now entering. Ladies and gentlemen, our board members, special guests, honorary degree recipients, the chairman of the Yeshiva University Board of Trustees, and the president of Yeshiva University are now approaching the stage. the Chief Marshal, Dr. Selma Botman, Provost, and Vice President for Academic Affairs, will now proceed with the commencement exercise.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Please rise and join in the singing of our national anthem, which will be led by Cantor Eric Freeman, Associate Director, Philip and Sarah Bell's School of Jewish Music, Yeshiva University. Afterward, please remain standing for the invocation.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
The invocation will be given by Rabbi Michael Rosenzweig, Rosh Yeshiva, Rabbi Isaac Elchanan Theological Seminary, and Rosh Kollel of the Baron Kollel Elyon. Rabbi Rosenzweig and his wife, Professor Smadar Rosenzweig, Adjunct Assistant Professor of Bible at Yeshiva University Stern College for Women, are also celebrating their daughter, Abigail, graduating from Stern College for Women today.
Kishem Hashem Ekra, Havu Godel Lelokenu. When we invoke God's ineffable name, let us give glory to our Lord. Or as Rashi explains, let us articulate a blessing to Hashem, to the Almighty. Remarkably, the Talmud in Masechet Brachot identifies this verse as the source of the daily obligation to inaugurate each day with a blessing on Torah study. In other words, Torah study, Jewish education, and by extension, the meaningful wisdom, intricacy, and inspiration of divine creation, broader wisdom, is equated literally with the name of God. Evidently, higher educational pursuit and achievement is not merely the accumulation of knowledge or even the mastery of disciplines and methodologies, but constitutes a core component in the quest for meaning, purpose, spirituality, and transcendence. The great Nachmanides, the medieval halachic thinker and master biblical commentator, codifies this interpretation of the divine invocation, Kishem Hashem Ekra, as a distinct imperative, a separate mitzvah in the 613 commandments. He depicts the entire Torah as a repository of divine names, projecting this profound notion that immersion in Torah study and serious engagement with a purposive education is the pathway to a meaningful existence, the divinely directed methodology for man to bond with his omnipotent yet accessible Creator. Knowledge is not only the foundation of power, but more importantly, the basis for religious experience and the cultivation of timeless values, which are particularly critical in a time of cultural flux and social instability. Embedded then in the classic concept of an invocation, Kishem Hashem Ekra, invoking God's name, is a crystallization of an educational and a religious philosophy. This aspirational, value-focused perspective is at the core of Yeshiva University's educational enterprise. Therefore, Kishem Hashem Ekra, when we in this manner invoke the divine name, in sense, we celebrate the higher educational attainment of a graduation, not merely as something that is past-focused or exclusively milestone-fixed, but also as something that constitutes a reaffirmation and an intensification of commitment to a lifetime of study, discovery, commitment, and dedication to a valued-centered, meaningful, and spiritual life. Mazal Tov, special congratulations to all of our special graduates, to my special Talmidim, including also especially my daughter Avigail, to their families, to the entire Yeshiva University family that is deeply dedicated to this Torah Umada mission that is encapsulated in the very concept of invoking the divine name and the divine presence. Kishem Hashem Ekra, when we invoke God's name in this way, Havu Godel Elokeinu. May all of you continue to appreciate and to articulate Hashem's grandeur as you strive, Mechoyel El Choyel, from achievement to every greater achievement. Thank you.
Will everyone please be seated? Mr. President, I am happy to inform you that the 87th Annual Commencement Exercises of Yeshiva University are now in session. It is my great pleasure to introduce Mr. Moshel Strauss, Chairman of the Yeshiva University Board of Trustees.
It is my honor to welcome you to Yeshiva University's 87th Annual Commencement Exercises. This is the fourth year in which I am privileged to address our esteemed class of graduates, and it is a job that I look forward to every year. We are especially excited to recognize Dr. Ari Berman's first year as Yeshiva University President. His passion for the students and grand vision for the institution is deeply inspiring to all of us who are fortunate to interact with him. Each graduating class is comprised of a unique set of idealists. They see issues not as challenges for society, but for opportunities to change it. They are motivated by the complex, the ambiguous, and the nuanced. Our graduates lead wherever they go. They are business leaders, rabbis, educators, doctors, artists, and the list goes on. At Yeshiva University, we emphasize the broadness of intellectual discourse as a means to enrich our students and help them fulfill their duty to the world. We harness the awesome power of our tradition to create a college experience that is not just transactional, but transformational. This notion exists on all levels of the university, imbuing everyone who walks through our doors, students, faculty, and staff, with the notion that they are here to make a difference. We are not a disparate group of individuals, but a mission-driven community intent on creating a values-based society. Our students have the weight of the world on their shoulders, and this is precisely where they thrive. Today is a celebration of the future as much as it is of the past. You, our graduates, have already accomplished so much. You have put in hours of studying, taking notes, creating new relationships, and taking advantages of all the opportunities that Yeshiva University has to offer. Your greatest strength, however, is in the vast potential that lies ahead. It is a strength that grows concurrently as you attain new levels of personal and professional success. Empowered by your tradition and a unique sense of responsibility to others, you will reach higher and further than ever before. There are no limits. Graduates, appreciate that strength and recognize its ability to guide you. And as you and we sit here today and contemplate the bright futures that await you, it is now time to flex your great muscles. Thank you again, and Mazel Tov.
Thank you, Chairman Strauss. And now for the awarding of honorary degrees to this year's distinguished honorees. Our first honorary degree recipient, YU President Emeritus Richard M. Joel. Will be presented by Dr. Henry Crisell, Chairman Emeritus of the Yeshiva University Board of Trustees and a member of the Board of Trustees of the Albert Einstein College of Medicine. Joining in the hooding are Mr. Michael Jesselson, Rabbi Dr. Josh Joseph, and Mr. Josh Muss.
Mr. President, it is my pleasure to present a great friend and inspired leader of our institution, President Emeritus Richard Joel, for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa.
President Joel, it is a true joy to welcome you back to Yeshiva University. In your investiture speech upon assuming the presidency of Yeshiva, you aptly drew from the 3rd chapter of the book of Joel. Ziknechem chalamot yachlamun, bachurechem chezionot yiru. Elders shall dream dreams, and your youth shall see visions. You added that the only way to make dreams come true is to wake up. Well, President Joel, look around you. You only need to look around the room to see your incredible students, to see the dreams that you have made come true. Like the dreams of your parents, of a father who traveled from Vilna to South Africa to America, who with great pride brought you to what is now Zeisman Hall, and with tears in his eyes envisioned your entry into Yeshiva Day School, a sight he surely saw in spirit. In high school, you were drawn to bring that dream to other teens, and as the youngest advisor at the precursor to NCSY, inspired hearts and minds with song, soul, and an accordion. You rose to be the head advisor for the Yeshiva High School seminar program, where you met a fellow advisor named Esther, with whom you would one day build a beautiful future. After your time at MTA, you earned your BA and JD from New York University as a Roots Tilden Scholar and became a lawyer because you dreamt of fixing the world. You valiantly fought for justice and served as Assistant District Attorney and Deputy Chief of Appeals in the Bronx. But you always felt the call to educate the next generation, and so returned to the world of Jewish student life as president of the Hillel Foundation. Under your leadership, Hillel experienced exponential growth, becoming an independent entity and expanding globally by establishing its first international headquarters. But then, the real work began. You succeeded Rabbi Dr. Norman Lamb as the 4th president of Yeshiva University. Your tenure as president was marked by many impressive achievements, from the opening of the Gluck Torah Center to the launch of the Center for the Jewish Future to the founding of the Cat School. But perhaps most importantly, you imagined and ushered into reality a Yeshiva University that was warm, welcoming, and supportive of students, including the largest expansion of student services in our institution's mission history. And you sought, as your personal mission, to model this culture of warmth and welcoming for others. You taught our students, President Joel, to dream. You taught them to work towards building a better and brighter future. In the end, I can only conclude with a statement about family. Even considering your deeply distinguished career, you still consider your greatest accomplishment to be marrying your best friend and life partner, Esther, and together raising your 6 children, all Yeshiva University graduates. You could applaud that. As well as 11 grandchildren. Given the centrality of family in your life, I have no doubt that notwithstanding the 2 honorary degrees you already hold, that this one will be the most meaningful of all because it is from family. President Joel, you taught these students sitting before us and so many who came before them to dream. They have received the mandate to matter. They have been enabled and ennobled. You can applaud enabled and ennobled. You have challenged them and you have charged our community to build a world rooted in Torah, Avodah, and Gemilut Chasadim. It is therefore my honor to confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. In token thereof, I cause to be placed over your shoulders this visible symbol of our high regard for you, and I hand you this diploma. Mazal Tov.
Thank you very much. It's very beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Our next honorary degree recipient and this year's commencement speaker, Ambassador Danny Danon, will be presented by Mrs. Anita Zucker, Yeshiva University benefactor and past honorary degree recipient. Joining in the hooding are Dr. Felix Glaubach, Mr. Avi Lauer, Mr. Philip Rosen, and Mr. Lee Sampson.
Mr. President, it is my pleasure to present Israel's esteemed permanent representative to the United Nations, Ambassador Danny Danon, for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
Ambassador Danny Danon, you are without a doubt one of Israel's fiercest and most dedicated defenders, as you have bravely demonstrated time and time again in your writings, speeches, and actions. Your honorable fight is grounded in the life and teachings of your parents, Yocheved and Joseph Danon. You have written movingly about the influence of your father, who was severely wounded in 1969 in action against terrorists infiltrating Israel through the Jordan Valley, resulting in a complete loss of hearing, amongst other physical challenges. 2 years later, you were born in Ramat Gan against a backdrop of ongoing external conflict. Yet your father, limited as he was by his injuries, instilled in you a love of Israel by encouraging you to get to know the land and its people, which you did through extensive hikes and camping trips. When you reported back to your father what you had experienced, he would enrich your understanding by telling you the biblical history of these places and sharing his own stories as a soldier in the IDF. But it wasn't just a love of geography that your father handed to you. He also gifted you with the confidence to speak out and the conviction to defend your people, a trait you have put to vigorous use in your influential writings, interviews, and opinion pieces. Though one can say you've been a political advocate for Israel since the days of your birth, your education for your political career began in 1996, when upon completing your national service in the IDF, you earned a bachelor's degree in international affairs from Florida International University and a master's degree in public policy from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. From there, you were sent on shlichut by the Jewish Agency and then launched a successful political career, holding a number of prominent positions in Likud and in Israel, included twice being elected as a member of Knesset and serving in important posts, such as the Minister of Science, Technology, and Space, Deputy Minister of Defense, and Deputy Speaker. In 2015, you were appointed Israel's 17th permanent representative to the United Nations. In this capacity, your passionate defense of the Jewish people has resonated internationally through your strong criticisms of unfair and biased actions by the United Nations. You have taken on the Herculean task of changing the operating culture of the United Nations. We laud your efforts to reform what you have called the mean-spirited obsession with Israel and what is supposed to be a fair-minded parliament of nations. In addition to fighting anti-Israel bias, you have worked to advance a positive image of Israel. You have promoted Israel through such activities as the Model Seder for UN ambassadors, had Yom Kippur recognized as an official UN holiday, and held events promoting Israel's advanced technologies. Due to your activities, you have been able to tell the true story about Israel, so that the UN is not a place where one only sees Israel bashing. In fact, as a testament to your success, in June 2016, you were elected as chairman of the UN Legal Committee, making you the first Israeli chosen to head a permanent committee of the United Nations. We are so thrilled that you are here with us, receiving this degree and being our commencement speaker. We welcome your wife, Tali, who is joining us, and of your children, Aviad. And I know, knowing Israelis, how difficult it is to stand through a whole speech in your praise. But we are so thankful and appreciative of your work. In dedicating your book to your father, Danny, you called him a genuine Israeli patriot who fought all his life. We are sure that your great work gives his neshama much nachat ruach. And in honoring you today, we can think of no greater expression of our appreciation than applying the same phrase to you. Danny Danon, you are a genuine Israeli patriot who fights for Israel every day of your life. It is therefore my privilege to confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa, and token thereof, I cause to be placed upon your shoulders this visible symbol of our high regard for you, and I hand you this diploma. Mazal tov.
בוקר טוב. Thank you very much. Thank you all. I am not used to such a warm introduction coming from the UN. Maybe, whereby they will react differently when I come back to the UN with a doctorate from Yeshiva. I am humbled to receive this extraordinary distinction, and I am truly honored to stand here with President Berman, the trustees, and the distinguished Rabbanim of Yeshiva University. It is also a great privilege to share the stage with President Richard M and congratulate him on his years of dedicated service to Yeshiva and to Klal Israel. But it is the greatest honor to join all of you today. Yeshiva University, class of 2018. We gather today at a complicated time for our people and for our nation. Threats continue to grow on Israel's borders. In the south, Hamas in Gaza becomes stronger by the day. In the north, Hezbollah in Lebanon is more dangerous than ever. And almost every day, we see the grave threats emanating from Syria. As we read in Sefer Yirmiyahu, the book of Jeremiah, Mitzafon tipatach הרעה. Out of the north, the evil will break forth. It is because of these threats that we are so grateful to the brave men and women of the IDF for keeping us safe. These threats that surround us are no coincidence. They all share a common thread that leads directly back to Iran. The Iranian regime is the largest supporter of terror in our region. This is why I guarantee you that Israel will never allow Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon. We applaud President Trump for his brave decision to remove the United States from the dangerous Iran deal. And we thank my dear friend, Ambassador Nikki Haley, for standing by our side. Every day at the UN, I defend Israel. I fight back against the lies and biases that flood the halls of what is supposed to be the Parliament of Nations. And I work hard to take down anti-Semitism and BDS on the world stage. In Europe, anti-Semitism is once again on the rise. Even here, in America, BDS poisons almost every college campus in the country, of course, of the exception of Yeshiva University. The sad fact is that too many Jews today are distancing themselves from their Jewish heritage and even from the Jewish state. But thankfully, despite all these reasons for alarm, we are blessed as Jews to live in the world today, because today is the most amazing era for the Jewish people in Israel and abroad. I would like to take you back to that founding moment in our history. On November 29, 1947, delegates from around the world gathered at the UN General Assembly. At the end of a tense day, in what is now the Queen's Museum, 33 countries voted for the establishment of a Jewish state in the land of Israel. Last month, we marked 70 years since Israel's independence. Since that founding moment, Israel's diplomatic relations have bloomed. We now have diplomatic relations with over 160 countries. That is progress. That is strength. We have a well-known saying in Hebrew, "זה לא מובן מאליו." There is no exact translation, but it means it is not obvious, or more accurately, it should not be taken for granted. When a miluimnik, a reserve soldier, leaves his family and shows up to defend his country, we should not take it for granted. When Israeli volunteers travel all the way to Africa to perform life-saving surgeries, we should not take it for granted. When young YU students take time off from their studies to strengthen Jewish communities across America and around the world, we should not take it for granted. זה לא מובן מאליו. In January 1947, less than 2 months after the historic vote at the UN, a heroic group of 35 young men set out to break the blockade on Gush Etzion. Among those 35 was Moshe Avigdor Perlstein. Moshe was born in Jersey City, just over 5 miles from where we are right now. He was a student at the Rabbi Yitzhak Elchanan Yeshiva and completed his studies at YU in 1944. In March of 1947, Moshe realized his dream. He moved to Israel. He registered at Hebrew University, hoping to spend his life walking the land of Eretz Israel. But at the outbreak of the War of Independence, Moshe left his studies. He enlisted in the Palmach and participated in the defense of Jerusalem. It was his platoon, the Lamed Hey, the heroic group of 35 that volunteered to rescue the besieged Gush Etzion block. But on January 16, 1948, they were ambushed. The entire platoon was massacred before it could complete the mission. The tragic story of the Lamed Hey was just one of many military setbacks at that time. Gush Etzion fell to the Jordanians. The Iraqi and the Egyptian armies continued to advance into Israel, and much of our beloved Jerusalem was lost for the next 19 years. The Jewish people and the young Jewish nation were cut off from our foundation stone. Nevertheless, despite the odds stacked against us, the Jewish people prevailed. The young Tzahal, full of volunteers and heroes like Moshe Perlstein, fought on. By the time the war ended, Israel had expanded our borders by 50% more than what was promised at Kaftet November. On Sunday, we all celebrated Yom Yerushalayim. We rejoiced over 51 years since we returned to our capital. We celebrated our return to Kever Rachel, to Me'arat HaMachpelah, and we danced and prayed at the Kotel, which had finally returned to our rightful hands. On Monday, we witnessed another miracle. We had the zchut to see the American flag raised over the new U.S. Embassy in our eternal capital, Jerusalem. זה לא מובן מאליו. "70 years ago, today, world Jewry, just emerging from the darkest tragedy to ever befall mankind. Today, there are still 2 million fewer Jews in the world than on the eve of the Holocaust. It's difficult to comprehend these numbers. They reflect an injustice that can never be corrected. But the tragedy these numbers represent has not stopped American Jewry from thriving. You, the graduates in this hall today, represent the potential of the Jewish people. You have more opportunities than ever to become tomorrow's leaders in academia, business, government. YU alumni are at the forefront of technological discovery. They are leading lawyers, doctors, social workers, educators. They are at the top of America's greatest financial institutions. It is the students and scholars of this beautiful university, the Talmidim and Rabbanim of YU, who pioneered the ideal of Torah u'Mada, of Torah and modernity. The unique blend of these words was articulated so beautifully by Rav Revel and Rav Belkin. It was perfected by Rav Soloveitchik and safeguarded by Rabbi Lam and President Joel. And now, it is the iconic philosophy championed by Rabbi Berman, the first Israeli president of YU. It is these scholars who have refilled the well of Torah that was nearly dried out in the Shoah. It is they who continue to ensure our traditions are passed down midor ledor. Velo muvan me'elav. "70 years ago, my father, Yosef Danon, was a young boy growing up in Alexandria, Egypt. Shortly after Israel declared independence, my father made Aliyah. He learned Hebrew, married my mother, Yocheved, who was born in Jerusalem, started a family, and built our home. In 1969, my father, a veteran of the Six-Day War, was called up for Miluim, reserve duty during the War of Attrition. He was critically wounded in a battle with terrorists who infiltrated the Jordan Valley. I grew up with a father who was in and out of hospitals, one who was living from one medical procedure to another. Because my father loved to hike, I would hike around Israel and relate to him every detail of the trail. I would describe to my father every flower I saw in the Galilee, in the Negev, every landscape I saw. I would come and speak with him about that. But growing up with my father, I also learned to be an advocate. My father had lost his hearing when he was wounded, so he depended on me to serve as his guide in banks, government offices. He counted on me to help him navigate endless bureaucracy. And we all know what it's like to deal with Israeli bureaucracy. Believe me, it wasn't easy. My father eventually died from his wounds. But the lesson he left me was the value and the necessity of advocacy, of standing up for what is right, even if your voice is the only flicker of truth in the room. It is this lesson I have brought with me into public service, in the Knesset, in the government. It is the same lesson I take with me to the United Nations. Every day, I walk into the UN and gaze up. I look at all of the flags at the UN. There is only one flag with our Magen David. When I look at that flag, I am reminded of my conviction to stand up for Israel. I do not allow for even one lie about Israel to go unanswered. Before every major vote in the UN, the 56 Muslim countries gathered to discuss their strategy. Then I, of course, gather all the Jewish states to discuss our strategy. As Israel's ambassador to the United Nations, I never forget the zchut I have, the distinct privilege of representing the world's only Jewish state at the United Nations. זה לא מובן מאליו. Members of YU family are no stranger to this type of staunch activism. Over the years, it was YU students who stood at the forefront of the struggle to release our brothers and sisters trapped as prisoners in the Soviet Union. You never allowed the cause of our people to be removed from the international agenda, even when the world wanted to move on. YU students have always stood by Israel, especially during wars and times of danger. We cannot thank you enough for that. We remember vividly the tension during the build-up to the first Gulf War in 1991. Saddam Hussein had invaded Kuwait. The UN demanded that Iraq leave Kuwait, and Saddam's response was to threaten Israel with Scud missiles. Back then, as a young cadet in the IDF officers course, I remember when our training was suspended. I remember being rushed to the front lines to be ready for any possibility. And I remember when airlines canceled their flights to Israel. Tourists call off their visits, but not YU. On January 15, 1991, over 400 YU students and alumni ignored the State Department's advisory to avoid travel to Israel. These young students landed at Ben Gurion Airport and named themselves Operation Torah Shield. And that is exactly what they were. These young students proved the age-old words of our rabbis that Kol Israel Arevim Ze Baze. My friends, from this day on, you will be YU alumni. This is a great responsibility. This means you now shoulder the incredible legacy forged by those who came before you. You must be defenders of Israel. Some of you will make Aliyah like Moshe Perstein, and some of you will be proud American Jews who stand up for your brothers and sisters in Zion and always protect the truth. You will challenge anyone who denies the legitimacy of our Jewish homeland. This means more than just playing defense. You must be proactive in your advocacy while honoring the unique values you learned at YU. You must respect those voices that differ from yours, but you must never relent in your protection of Torat Israel, Am Israel, and Eretz Israel. My friends, I am confident that the future of our people is bright. I believe the best days for the State of Israel and the people of Israel still lie ahead. My confidence does not arise only from my faith in God, my bitachon be'Hashem. It is for my trust in you that I know that we will prevail. In my mind, no Bet Midrash, no university, no single institution outside the State of Israel is more responsible for the achievements of our people over the past 122 years than Yeshiva University. I have the greatest confidence that the class of 2018 will be the one to lead our people toward even greater heights in the years ahead. I leave you today with the hope that you understand that nothing we see before us is muvan me'elav. We cannot take anything for granted. That all we have accomplished and all you will achieve is a miracle from God and the result of the resilience of our people. To send you off into the world as new graduates, I will conclude with the opening perek of the book of Yoshua. לא ימוש ספר התורה הזה מפיך, והגית בו יומם ולילה, למען תשמור לעשות ככל הכתוב בו. כי אז תצליח את דרכך, ואז תשכיל, הלא ציוותיך חזק ואמץ, אל תערוץ ואל תחת. כי עמך אדוני אלוהיך בכל אשר תלך. When you blend your love of Torah with your potential to lead, it is you who will guide us toward building Klal Israel and Eretz Israel. Thank you and Mazal Tov to the class of 2018.
Thank you, Ambassador Dr. Danon, for those wonderful remarks and your inspiration that we should not take for granted what is and what is not muvan me'elav. Good morning, everyone, and a special good morning to all of our soon-to-be newest graduates in the class of 2018. My name is Josh Joseph. I had to read that here. And I have the pleasure of serving as Senior Vice President for Yeshiva University. As many of you recall, in his investiture speech, Rabbi Berman laid out the 5 central teachings of Yeshiva University, the 5 Torot. One of those core principles is Torat Zion, which represents our unwavering commitment to the state of Israel and the conviction that we all have one common goal: to redeem the world and transform it for the better. Throughout YU's history, our students, faculty, and alumni have proudly stood with Israel and demonstrated their bond in myriad ways. And under the leadership of Rabbi Berman, that bond is only growing closer as we explore new partnerships and opportunities to shine a light on all humanity and move history forward. We have many exciting moments ahead of us this morning, beginning with a special video presentation highlighting the powerful relationship we have with the state of Israel.
Torat Zion tells us that we are not accidents of history, nor simply participants in history, but we are drivers of history. Torat Zion requires us to understand that as human beings, we all have one common overarching goal, and that is to redeem the world and transform it for the better. As Martin Luther King Jr. proclaimed, the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. Then Torat Zion charged us with the task of moving history forward. This directive applies to all of humanity. And at this moment in time, more than at any other moment in the entire scope of Jewish history. The Jewish people are capable of partnering with the full breadth of humanity to move history forward.
It is a proud Yeshiva University tradition that we salute our outstanding undergraduates, those who've been accorded honors and awards by their peers and by members of the undergraduate faculty. Those students are listed over 6 pages in the back of your program, and we will not read each one line by line, but have asked them to all please rise and for all of us to join me in applauding them. And now, we would like to ask our valedictorians for the undergraduate schools to rise when their names are called so that we may pay them a collective tribute. Brent Weinberg, Isaac Breuer College of Hebraic Studies. Meir Finkelstein, the Yeshiva program, Mazer's School of Talmudic Studies. Mordechai Weiss, James Stryer School of General Jewish Studies. Mindy Schwartz, Rebecca Ivry Department of Jewish Studies at Stern College for Women. Jared Rutner, Yeshiva College. Jesse Salver, Irving I. Stone, Beit Midrash Program. Shani Chava and Michael Klein, Cy Sims School of Business, Dean Harold Nierenberg Memorial Valedictorians, and Golda Aharon, Stern College for Women. Let's give these special young men and women a round of applause and extend to them our deepest wishes for continued success and fulfillment in all their endeavors. And it is now my pleasure to call upon this year's Stern College for Women valedictorian, Golda Aharon, to deliver the address on behalf of the undergraduates of the class of 2018.
Honored faculty, guests, and fellow graduates. Congratulations, and thank you all for coming. It means so much to my classmates and me that you are here. A special thank you to everyone who came from far or rearranged your schedules in order to attend. We cannot have reached this milestone without your support, and our celebration is more meaningful because you are part of it. It is such an honor to address you this morning, and I'm so grateful to the administration and faculty at Yeshiva University for this opportunity. My latest attempt at public speaking was singing the Man Nishtana at the Pesach Seder, so it feels surreal to me to stand here today and reflect on lessons that may be useful to us in our next steps. Fortunately, I know somebody who has valuable wisdom to impart. One of the most rewarding experiences I had at Stern was volunteering with the Adopt a Bubby program. Every week, I visited an elderly woman to chat and help her with errands. My Bubby, as I'll call her, is lively and intelligent, and we have grown close in the 4 years since we met. During one visit, I turned to her and asked, "Bubby, what is your secret? How are you so full of life?" "My secret?" she replied. "Learning and laughter." Learning and laughter. Today, as I reflect upon my Bubby's secret keys to a vibrant life, I realize that I am privileged to have experienced both of them on a daily basis during my time at Yeshiva University. Every day of school, my classmates' learning was the primary focus of every student, faculty member, and administrator at YU. As students, we pored over books, engaged in classroom debates, and smudged our hands with ink in order to acquire new knowledge. Just as we learned about the world, we also learned about ourselves. As young adults striving to find a place in society, we have uncovered our talents, sources of courage, and dreams for the future. But learning does not stand alone in my mind when I think of my YU experience. Accompanying it always was laughter. My classmates and I laughed over stories from the day, our fumbles in the laboratory, and the creative ways we procrastinated. I will always remember the time two friends and I laughed all the way on the subway to Washington Heights, just from recounting our favorite ways to make breakfast. Being with friends molded my college career into a delightful experience that was not only educational, but fun too. At Yeshiva University, it was amazing to see learning and laughter come alive in religious life as well. Faculty and students alike devoted hours every week to the study of Jewish tradition and thought, while exemplifying how laughter can strengthen the religious experience. As we complemented our learning with chagigas and Shabbat programming, we were fortunate to practice Judaism with both intellectual engagement and joy. Fellow graduates of 2018, as college students, it was easy to incorporate learning and laughter into our lives. We had classes to study for and friends all around to divert us. But the futures will be busy. We will have fresh obligations and goals, projects to lead, apartments to maintain, and supervisors to impress. I hope that these new pursuits will be meaningful to you. Yet, I encourage you to actively integrate learning and laughter into your calendars. Subscribe to a podcast on a topic you love, arrange a chavruta, or attend lectures in your neighborhood. Most of all, schedule time for the people who make you smile. They will help you appreciate the world from a fresh perspective and make your new lives as treasured as you have made mine. Thank you all for coming and for the honor of addressing you today. Thank you to the administration and faculty at Stern for your guidance and mentorship over the years. A special thank you to my parents, siblings, Saba and Savta, and Grandma and Grandpa for your loving support and always fostering an environment of learning and laughter at home. To the class of 2018, congratulations. Thank you for being the best of friends and role models and inspiring me to believe that the limit does not exist. I wish you every form of success in the future, and may we all enjoy much learning and laughter as we embark on the next chapter. Thank you. In recent weeks, we have celebrated at senior dinners and numerous events, marking the end of an exciting, challenging, memorable year. Please turn your attention to the video screens for a special look back at some of the highlights and memories from our graduation season.
IBC has been really impactful on my YU experience. It's allowed me to grow as a Jew.
And it was so meaningful for me to be able to start my day every day by learning Talmud and Rav Khan Shir, and by taking amazing classes in Bible and Jewish history from people who are really experts in their field.
I find that my experience at YP gave me exposure to so many Rosh Yeshiva and Rebbeim who really do shape your life and shape the way you think.
Sims to me is synonymous with opportunity, because you can come here, you can be in a Jewish environment where you can study Talmud in the morning, and then in the afternoon you can have every experience that is available and every opportunity that is available to students at Ivy League schools and schools across the nation.
The thing that made my time at Sims so special is the sense of family, the sense of care and love that both the students and the teachers gave.
BMP for me was that home, was that focus point.
Yeshiva College impacted my experience for the way, I guess, it complemented my day. I could learn the same piece of the Rambam in the morning, and then I could tackle it from a different vantage point in the afternoon.
Knowing what I know now, Stern is a home for Jewish women of every background and belief to come together, get to know each other, and learn from each other.
My time at JSS made me realize the tremendous privilege I have to be a Jew, to have Shabbos, to eat kosher, to celebrate all the Chagim, and also a sense of responsibility that we have to go around as upstanding Jews and set a great example and be the new generation of leaders.
My favorite class at YU was Literature of Pedagogy with Dr. Hirsch.
I have too many favorite professors for this video, so I'm just going to leave it at they were all my favorite.
I really enjoyed Dr. Jeffrey Gurek's class on American Jewish history.
Probably my organic chemistry class. I liked it a lot.
My favorite class was an IBC class, most are in psychology, by Rabbi Benny Rofe.
Ooh, classroom management with Dr. Hirsch. I'm not an education major, but her class made me realize that I want to become a teacher.
I had the privilege to learn by Rav Shechter for the last 3 years, and that was really an incredible experience that I benefited tremendously from.
I was a writer for the YU Observer, I was a writer for the YU Commentator,
And it was really great to be able to be a platform for students to share their thoughts and to express themselves.
I also gave a TEDx talk, which was an unbelievable experience.
We're both presidents of RAC, Random Acts of Kindness. I play on the basketball and tennis team.
Project START, which is a organization that we go to different public schools in the Washington Heights area, and we teach science modules to 4th graders.
My summers with Counterpoint Israel, where we went to the south of Israel and worked with underprivileged teens, Israeli teens there.
My most memorable experience at Yeshiva University so far has been preparing for the annual Medical Ethics Society conference.
Something that really stood out to me was we had Rabbi Ozer Glickman speak at conference and work with us. It was really wonderful to work with him and just learn from him as an incredible person and teacher.
I've really learned how to learn, which is, I think, a skill that will stay with me for the rest of my life.
I was 5'5" when I started, and now I'm 5'6".
I think my most looked forward to events of the year always revolve around the chagigas.
One of my favorite moments of Yeshiva University was definitely the Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaTekes. It really has a special place in my heart, and I loved it. I think the thing I'll miss most about Yeshiva University is really the people.
Friends.
The social life, it's great.
The social life.
The chagigas.
We're going to miss most about YU is
Each other.
The amount of strength that I gain from all my peers, just that constant challenge and push to make sure you're not falling behind is what I am going to miss the most.
Class 2018, you came this far, you can go as far as you want.
Always stick to your gut and be true to yourself.
Remember where you come from, remember what your values are.
We did it. Through thick and thin.
To all my fellow graduates, you guys are graduates of Yeshiva University, which means you could do absolutely anything.
Thanks, Mom. I love you.
Thanks
for sponsoring my education.
Thank you to my family for putting up with me.
Also, I want to give a big shout out to Marco in the YU cafeteria. Marco, thanks for your smiles.
Thank you, Mom and Dad.
תודה רבה לבורא עולם, שבלעדיו כמובן שלא הייתי מגיע לרגע הזה.
Thanks, Mom and Dad, for everything.
I love you, Papi, with all my heart.
Yeah, shout out to my grandma who's here. She's 86 years old and can do a 3-minute plank, so Grandma, you're the coolest.
Okay, תודה רבה, אבא, תודה רבה, אמא, גיא, רועי, אוהבת אתכם.
Maman, papa, merci beaucoup d'avoir m'aidé, de m'avoir poussé durant ces dernières années, et merci d'être venu jusqu'à New York, de la Belgique, pour la proclamation. Merci beaucoup.
To all my friends, you're the ones who made this an incredible experience, and I can't thank you enough.
Wow, you guys rock! It is truly wonderful to look back and reflect on this special time in your lives and see how much you have grown and how far you all have come. So keeping with the theme of looking back, let's go back a bit further. Today we have the opportunity to acknowledge important anniversaries for many of our YU graduating classes. And now we invite all alumni in the audience to please stand so we may recognize you with a much-deserved round of applause. All alumni, each and every one of you, please stand. on the stage too. "50 years ago, an accomplished class of men and women graduated from Yeshiva College and Stern College for Women. Today, we're lucky to have members of those accomplished 50th anniversary classes here to celebrate with us. President Berman, we ask that you reconfer degrees on the Yeshiva University and Stern College for Women 50th anniversary classes."
Thank you, Rabbi Dr. Josh Joseph. Let me just take a moment to mention how thrilling it is to have the opportunity to work with such distinguished professionals as our Senior Vice President and all of our Vice Presidents and Provosts, our senior leadership team, everyone here who put so much work in ensuring your education and your future. You can applaud them. They should get some applause. It really is so special to have members of the class of 1968 here with us today. You're all vital parts of the Yeshiva University family, and you've given of yourselves and your families to make ours even stronger. Members of the classes of 1968, you have successfully completed the requirements for diplomas and degrees and distinguished yourselves through 50 years of achievement. By virtue of the authority invested in me as president of Yeshiva University, I am pleased to re-award you your diplomas and reconfigure upon you the respective degrees with all the rights, privileges, and obligations pertaining thereto. As a token of this award, I ask Mrs. Jeannie Savitsky. Mrs. Jeannie Savitsky, a wonderful Yeshiva University alumnus with an incredible Yeshiva University family, to accept a diploma on behalf of the Stern College and Yeshiva College anniversary classes. Each class member will be inducted into our Golden Shield Society. Mazal Tov.
We are also blessed to have with us some members of the class of 1958. 10 years ago, they took their place in the Golden Shield Society on their 50-year anniversary, and since then, they have continued distinguishing themselves over the course of another decade. Will those members of both the classes of 1958 and 1968 who are here with us today please stand so we can applaud you? This has been a special year at Yeshiva University as we marked numerous milestones in our school's storied history. In the past 12 months, YU celebrated the 80th anniversary of the Bernard Revel Graduate School of Jewish Studies, the 60th anniversaries of both the Furkauf Graduate School of Psychology and Wurzweiler School of Social Work, the 30th anniversary of the Cy Sims School of Business, and the 70th anniversary of the Yeshiva University High School for Girls. In April, we hosted homecoming celebrations in New York and Israel, honoring the 60th anniversary of Stern College for Women's first graduating class. And of course, in September, we celebrated a new and transformational era in our school's history with the formal investiture of Yeshiva University's 5th president, Rabbi Dr. Ari Berman. Ladies and gentlemen, today, as he presides over his first commencement exercises, it is my honor to introduce Rabbi Dr. Ari Berman.
Mr. Chairman, Ambassador Danon, President Emeritus Richard M, dear trustees, faculty, administrators, friends, family, Rebbeim, and most importantly, our beloved graduates. This is a great day for you, a great day for your families, a great day for Yeshiva University. And as you launch into the next stage of your personal journey, it is an important moment to reflect on your core values and mission in life. Let me start then by asking some fundamental questions. When did your life begin? When did your story start? And when does it end? The conventional wisdom is that a person's story begins with birth and terminates with death. But if we consider not only molecules but personal identity, then we realize that this is not the case. If you ask someone to tell you about themselves, they often start by talking about their parents and even their grandparents. I am a Litvak. My family is from Poland. My grandparents were immigrants from Aleppo. When people tell their own stories, they begin much earlier than their birth, for their character and personality are shaped and defined by their past. The past generations are not seen as separate from us, but they are a part of who we are. Now, this is not simply a psychological phenomenon, but as Rabbi Soloveitchik has noted, this is an essential Jewish teaching that transforms the way we think about our lives. In Judaism, time collapses and historical consciousness becomes part of our personal identity. Although we live thousands of years later, in our mind's eye, Abraham and Isaac were our grandfathers, as were the slaves who left Egypt and who stood by Mount Sinai. The late great Jewish historian, Professor Yosef Chaim Yerushalmi, and his magnum opus, Zachor, called it the difference between history and memory. History is a set of dry facts and details about the past, but memory is about personal identity. It's about the stories we tell about ourselves and our place in the world. It's the traditions we inherit and inhabit, and it grants us the capacity to see ourselves as part of something far grander by giving our lives direction and purpose. While Judaism values the study of history, it hallows Jewish memory. This perspective gives us and gives you, our graduates, enormous power. For through it, your actions and decisions have much great potential impact. For example, they not only affect our own sense of self-definition, but can redefine the lives of earlier generations as well. I remember once when I was younger, I visited my grandparents' house in Forest Hills. My grandparents lived a couple of blocks away from me. And I remember this time it was notable because when I walked into the house, my grandmother looked somewhat sad. Now, this was a surprise to me, for normally when I walked into my grandparents' house, it was greeted with great joy and great cheer. So I said to her, "Grandma, what's wrong?" My grandmother was in a reflective, wistful state, and she said to me, "You know, when I left Europe during the war, I went in the wrong direction. I went west to America, but I should have gone east. I should have gone to Israel." All her life, my grandmother lived with this deep regret. Fast forward the story by a number of decades, and I am standing with my children at the foot of the door of the Nefesh B'Nefesh charter flight of New Olim who are moving to Israel. As we were about to embark from the plane, this childhood conversation flashed in my mind, and I felt my grandmother's presence. And I thought to myself that today, I'm not just bringing my children to Israel, but I'm bringing my grandmother as well. After all of these years, she is finally coming east. You see, from the narrow perspective of her years, my grandmother was not able to reach her life goal. But from a broader intergenerational perspective, she did. For in a very real sense, we rewrote the story of her life. Now her choice to go to America could be viewed differently. It was not a step away from Israel, but it was a step towards Israel, as it brought her descendants one step closer to moving there. Our lives do not start when we are born. The choices we make do not just affect us. They are part of a much larger narrative, dating back to our parents and grandparents through the annals of Jewish history to our first father and mother, Abraham and Sarah. Our choices define not just our own years, but theirs as well. And just as our life does not start with our birth, it does not end with our passing. Our actions affect our children and grandchildren, community, and society, and they live on long after our 120 years. Our lives begin with Avram and Sarah, and they end at L'Shana Haba, B'Yerushalayim Habnuya. And if we think of our lives in this way, there are dramatic repercussions. Take Jerusalem, for example, which has been at the top of the news recently. Seen from the narrow perspective of modern history, our profound connection to Jerusalem is not easily understood. It became contested property in 1948, and although it was conquered in 1967, our claim in it from a modern perspective is weak and severable. And this is the narrative of those who seek Israel's destruction and those who provoke riots to break through its borders. But this is not our narrative. Our narrative is rooted in memory, and it begins with our great-grandparents. My great-grandparents actually lived in Israel. There they built a vibrant and dynamic culture and society with much love and laughter, joy and meaning. But then they were attacked and were taken captive. First, they were brought to Babylonia, then Persia, and eventually were dispersed throughout the world, from Rome to Iraq, from North Africa to Western Europe, from Mexico to the United States of America. But all through this time, they never forgot that Jerusalem is their home and capital. From this vantage point, our connection to Jerusalem is not a 70-year modern story, but a 3,000-year personal memory. And when we took control over Jerusalem in 1967, we did not come as conquerors, but as liberators. For Jerusalem is the once and eternal capital of the state of Israel. This expansive historical awareness also impacts the way we live our lives. If one is only concerned with the narrow span of time starting with birth and ending with death, then one's decisions are seen through the sole prism of what is gratifying to oneself over the course of a fleeting existence. But if one has a broader perspective, then one is impelled to make life decisions in such a way that they are not only personally beneficial, but also give honor to preceding generations and pave the way for those to come. Our Jewish mission, our historical consciousness, directs us to think in long time horizons, to think bigger than just ourselves in considering our lives, the professions we enter, the kind of homes that we build, the values that we embody. All must be aimed at achieving our larger purpose. While this has always been true, it is especially true today. You, our students, are graduating into a world filled with enormous opportunity and promise. Opportunity and promise in the Jewish world and in the broader society. You are alive during perhaps the greatest flourishing of large-scale Torah study since Sinai, an era in which Torah texts are available and accessible to more Jews than ever before. You have never known a day in your life in which the Jewish people have not been blessed with the existence of the State of Israel, and you have borne witness to the continued blossoming of this great state, which stands as enormous opportunity and resource for you. In your personal and professional lives, you will find doors wide open to you in which your Jewishness and tradition will not be a liability, but a source of pride, a wellspring from which you will draw great nourishment and meaning. Today, you will find new avenues to publicly sanctify God's name by modeling and spreading Jewish values in your community, workplace, and throughout society. And this is what your education at Yeshiva University has been all about. For here at Yeshiva University, you have been given the tools not only to achieve great personal and professional success, but to seize these magnificent, miraculous opportunities to achieve our wider and loftier purpose as well. You have built lifelong relationships at Yeshiva University, friends, colleagues, and even for some, life partners. More profoundly, you've been exposed to the vast intellectual resources that our university has to offer. You have capitalized on our opportunity of engagement in the deep study of the Torah and have become participants in the 3,000-year-old conversation of wisdom. You have been granted great access to the storehouses of human knowledge from the best of human creativity glimpsed through the study of literature and history to the cutting-edge developments in the fields of science and technology. But most important of all, during your time at Yeshiva University, you have deepened your commitment to our core values, what I have called the 5 Torot, which has endowed you with a mission. Your mission is to transform the Jewish world and the broader society for the better in service to God. This mission gives ultimate meaning to all that you gained here. It places you within a grander context and transforms you from specks of carbon wandering aimlessly through an uncaring universe into architects of a majestic future for the vision of a society that is built on emanating the values for which we all stand. In short, you are the Jewish leaders of tomorrow, with the education, rearing, background, and character to serve as the coda for the eras before you and the overture for those who will follow. In closing, let me offer my words of congratulations. Mazal tov, first of you, to our dear students, our pride and our joy. What an incredible moment this is in each of your lives. Mazal tov to your parents, to all of the grandparents, to the families that are here with you, that are celebrating with you, who have loved you and nurtured you till you reach this day. What an amazing day this is for them to see you achieve this milestone. Mazal tov to your teachers, deans, and rabbis, all of the people on this stage and beyond who have cherished you throughout this journey and will continue to care for you in the next phases of your lives. And finally, Mazal tov to the Jewish people. A Yeshiva University graduation is not just a private celebration. It's a celebration for our entire people. For you are the leaders of tomorrow. You are our future. This is indeed a great celebration because knowing you, we know that this is just the beginning of wonderful things to come. Mazal tov.
Thank you, President Berman. It is now time for the conferring of degrees. We begin with graduates of our outstanding graduate schools and programs. Many of our graduate schools hold separate ceremonies throughout the commencement season. Today, representatives for each graduating class will accept a symbolic degree on its behalf. Candidates from Albert Einstein College of Medicine will be presented by the Executive Dean, Edward Burns.
Somebody made it there. President Berman, mazel tov on the first graduation of YU that you're presiding over. President Joel, congratulations on your honorary doctorate. I know YU will continue to love you because I see the Joel family at the courtside Spike Lee seats.
Joel family.
President Berman, I have the honor to announce that 172 men and women have completed the required course of study for the degree of Doctor of Medicine at the Albert Einstein College of Medicine. 19 have completed requirements for the Master of Science. 44 have completed their studies for the graduate program for the PhD. Here today, representing the graduating students of the Albert Einstein College of Medicine for the MD degree is Aaron Birkenrode. Aaron will be going to UCLA Medical School to do his residency in internal medicine. Julia Fry represents our graduate students. She worked in the lab of Dr. John Lai and developed treatments for Ebola and dengue fever. She is going on to Switzerland to work as a scientist in a Swiss biotech company.
The candidates for Azrieli Graduate School of Jewish Education and Administration will be presented by Dean Rona Novick.
You don't get off so easy. You're still up here. Mr. President, I have the honor of presenting 37 candidates for the degree of Master of Science and 3 for Doctor of Education. Your program contains the names of the graduates. I respectfully request that these degrees be conferred upon them, and representing this year's class is the newly minted Dr. Moshe Aryeh Glasser.
Dr. Moshe Aryeh Glasser. Congratulations.
Benjamin N. Cardozo School of Law candidates will be presented by Dean Melanie Leslie.
Thank you. Mr. President, I have the honor to announce that 279 men and women have completed the required course of study for the degree of Juris Doctor and 66 for the Master of Laws at Benjamin N. Cardozo School of Law. Your program contains the names of the graduates. I am pleased to call on Eduardo Quiroga to represent the class.
Bernard Revel Graduate School of Jewish Studies candidates will be presented by Associate Dean Mordechai Cohen.
Mr. President, I have the honor of presenting 18 graduates for the degree of Master of Arts at Bernard Revel Graduate School of Jewish Studies and one for the Doctor of Philosophy. Your program contains the names of the graduates. Mr. President, I respectfully request that these degrees be conferred. I am pleased to call on Mrs. Dina Katz Block to represent the class.
Furkoff Graduate School of Psychology candidates will be presented by Dean Lawrence Siegel.
Mr. President, I have the honor of presenting to you the men and women from Furkoff Graduate School of Psychology who are candidates for the following degrees: 58 for the Masters of Arts degree, 15 for the Master of Science degree, 22 for the Doctor of Philosophy degree, and 30 for the Doctor of Psychology degree. Their names are listed in your programs. These candidates have completed all degree requirements and have been approved for the degrees by the faculty and the appropriate administrative officers. I respectfully request that you confer these degrees upon them, and I am pleased to call upon Ms. Carmen Lalonde to represent the classes.
Candidates from Wurzweiler School of Social Work will be presented by Dean Danielle Wozniak.
Mr. President, as Dean of Wurzweiler School of Social Work, I have the honor to tell you that 60 men and women have completed the requisite course of study for the degree of Master of Social Work, one for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, one for a certificate in child welfare practice, one for a certificate in gerontology, one for a certificate in school social work practice, and one for a certificate in social work practice with the military. 50 more will receive their degree through the block education plan later this summer. All these men and women have earned the approbation of the faculty. I respectfully request that these degrees be conferred upon them, and I am pleased to call on Ms. Shifra Lamb to represent the class. Thank you, sir.
Cy Sims School of Business candidates will be presented by Interim Dean Michael Strauss.
Thank you. Mr. President, I have the honor of presenting to you 14 men and women from the Cy Sims School of Business for the Masters of Science and Accounting degree, 16 for the Master of Science and Marketing degree, 10 for the Master of Science and Taxation degree, and 8 for the Masters of Business Administration. The names are listed in your program. These candidates have completed all degree requirements and have been approved for the degrees by the faculty and by the appropriate administration's officers. I respectfully, therefore, request that you confer these degrees upon them, and I'm very pleased to call on Mr. Matthew Schwartz to represent the class.
Look at that. Look who's here. Oh, I didn't know this. That's a hot one. I did not know that. Thank you. Look at that. Congratulations.
Mordechai D. and Monique C. Katz School for Graduate and Professional Studies candidates will be presented by Dean Paul Russo.
Mr. President, it is my pleasure to inform you that 30 men and women have completed the requirements for the course of study of the degree of Master of Science in Quantitative Economics. And 22 more have completed the degree requirements for the Master of Science in Speech-Language Pathology. They're good at speaking. These candidates have completed all of the requirements and been approved for their degrees by the faculty and appropriate administrators. Mr. President, I ask that you confer these degrees upon these 52 astounding individuals. And I call upon Mr. Chi Wu to come to the stage and represent the class.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you. Come. I'm going to hang out one more time.
Master of Arts in Mathematical Sciences candidates will be presented by Dean Paul Russo.
Mr. President, it is again my honor to present 3 men and women for the Master of Arts in Mathematical Sciences degree. These candidates have completed all of the requirements as approved by the faculty and appropriate administrators. I ask that you confer these degrees upon them, and I am pleased to call Mr. Daniel Goldsmith to represent the class.
And these guys stand over there.
Candidates from Stern College for Women will be presented by Mrs. Shoshana Schechter, instructor in Bible and director of Mechina at Yeshiva University.
Mr. Rabbi Dr. President, I'm honored to announce that 3 women have completed the requisite course of study for the degree of Master of Arts in Biblical and Talmudic Interpretation. These women have earned the approbation of the faculty, and I respectfully request that degrees be conferred upon them. Blima Zellinger-Magid is here to represent the graduating class. Mazel tov.
Would all candidates for graduate degrees who are present here today please rise? You have successfully completed the requirements for degrees as prescribed by the faculties of the graduate schools of Yeshiva University. By virtue of the authority vested in me as president of Yeshiva University, I hereby confer upon you the respective degrees with all the rights, privileges, and obligations pertaining thereto. As a token of this award, we present a diploma for each class representative. Congratulations on this wonderful achievement.
Thank you. The undergraduate candidates will be presented by their deans, and the president will confer the degrees for all undergraduates with one proclamation. Stern College for Women and Yeshiva College candidates will be presented by Mrs. Shoshana Schechter, instructor in Bible at Yeshiva University, and director of Mechina at Yeshiva University.
Big accomplishment. Rabbi Dr. President, it is my tremendous pleasure to inform you that 248 outstanding women have successfully completed the curriculum for the degree of Bachelor of Arts, and 294 have completed a course of study leading to an Associate in Arts degree. I really enjoyed teaching you guys. On behalf of the faculty of Stern College, I respectfully request that you award these degrees. Yeah? Okay. And I am equally pleased to announce to you that 188 accomplished men have successfully completed the curriculum for the degree of Bachelor of Arts at Yeshiva College. Haven't enjoyed teaching them. On behalf of the faculty, I respectfully request that you award them their degrees.
Candidates from the James Stryer School and Isaac Brewer College of Hebraic Studies will be presented by the Max and Marion Grill Dean of Rabbi Isaac Elchanan Theological Seminary and Undergraduate Torah Studies, Rabbi Menachem Penner.
Rabbi Dr. President, first of all, congratulations on presiding on your first graduation. Many more. I have the honor of informing you that all undergraduate men in one of our 4 outstanding Torah Studies programs, the James Stryer School, Isaac Breuer College, the Mazer School of Talmudic Studies, and the Irving I. Stone Beit Midrash program, in addition to all their college studies, are earning an Associate in Arts in Jewish Study degrees. 349 men have completed the required course of study for the Associate in Arts degree. All have earned the approbation of the faculty, and I respectfully request that you award them degrees and diplomas.
Cy Sims School of Business candidates will be presented by Interim Dean Michael Strauss.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present to you 179 men and 52 women who have completed the required course of study for the degree of Bachelor of Science at Cy Sims School of Business. They have earned the approbation of the faculty, and I respectfully request that these degrees be confirmed upon them.
Will all undergraduates please rise?
This is an amazing moment. You have done it. You have made it. After my first year, I can say we all have done it and we have made it. And I am pleased to say you have successfully completed the requirements for diplomas and degrees as prescribed by the Faculty of Arts and Sciences and Business of the undergraduate schools of Yeshiva University. By virtue of the authority vested in me as president of Yeshiva University, I hereby award you your diplomas and confer upon you the respective degrees with all the rights, privileges, and obligations pertaining thereto. Ladies and gentlemen, Congratulations!
The marshals will now line up the undergraduates for the procession to the stage. We begin with the women whose names will be read by Mrs. Linda Stone, followed by our graduate students whose names will be read by Ms. Susan Sun. Then the names of the men will be read by Rabbi Joshua Reisberg. Ladies and gentlemen, please hold your applause until all the recipients have been presented with their diplomas.
Ready, Meredith?
Yeah.
You ready? Meredith Shapiro. Sharon Kuchakovich. Michal Nyman. Hannah Gold. Sarah Page Laskin. Camille Bivas. Raquel Tubelli. Raquel Terzi. Yasmin Shokrian. Maor Samoa. Sabrina Benmoa. Esther Wilmowski. Shani Carmel. Eden Besalali. Celia Ryak. Tova Muss. Rachel Nasimi. Tali Paknouche. Sarah Brown. Shira Ozdoba. Kimberly Kugelman. Tamar Liederman. I'm sorry? Yael Gifton. Yasmin Nuim. Yaara Elimelech. Frady Steinberger. Rachel Haber. Victoria Levy. Rachel Weinstone. Sarah Cousins. Rivka Gruber. Liron Halamesh. Irene Tova Razi. Shira Siegel. Goldie Wolfson. Hannah Lanskron. Hannah Chish Portish. Hannah Newman. Sophia Blumenstrauch. Devora Blank. Amalia Diamond. Gabriella Shankman. Gila Katz. Adele Lerner. Shira Krinsky. Devora Lamb. Aliza Allweiss. Abigail Hirschfield. Naomi Schachter. Rena Kleiner. Geffy Kornhauser. Shelby Weller. Danielle Chesser. Leora Schiff. Lily Otensoser. Allie Margulies. Alexandra Rubin. Miriam Seltzer. Rose Joseph. Elizabeth Schechter. Goldie Weiser. Daniela Miller. Hannah Piskun. Elina Reichenberg. Sorry. Whitney Kagan. Rachel Nass. Rachel Roth. Shira Wolf. Rebecca Arye. Razy Abitan. Shoshana Rosenberg. Gabriella Rahimzada. Rebecca White. Eliana Hammer. Alin Azuli. Dorit Faust. Shula Goldstein. Julia Fisher. Avital Tenenbaum. Ellie Nemitz. Chana Boucher. Yael Nisanoff. Mira Sheree. Rachel Hershkovitz. Eliana Alter. Jordana Rehani. Yael Shushan. Adira Koppel. Haley Candleshine. Nora Shokrian. Gabriella Englander. Shayna Fishman. Talia Gross. Shoshana Goldberg. Judy Lesserman. Rivka Salhanik. Hannah Grossman. Abigail Rosenzweig. Shayna Michalowski. Go. Shoshana Mermelstein. Sarah Shiketti. Esther Montrose. Gabrielle Sibliger. Rebecca Burak. Leah Lefkowitz. Jennifer Gardner. Stephanie Roth. Alana Penn. Emily Neckenoff. Ariella Mermelstein. Daphna Sisemski. Aura Schlanger. Alex Fetter. Jessica Pinter. Ariala Hecht. Esther Felsenstein. Batsheva Kavalachik. Dasi Korn. Ahuva Blass. Jordana Magid. Sarah Gold. Gail Masseri. Batsheva Karp. Chaya Levinson. Emmy Schwartz. Mirav Linzer. Elizabeth Berger. Dina Drazen. Elise Tripp. Melissa Daniel. Elizabeth Mandelbaum. Andrea Weiss. Leah Braun. Dahlia Seeger. Dina Stiefel. Ahava Sherman. Leora Rubenstein. Yael Landau. Chava Chalap. Zoe Globak. Jordana Sampson. Simcha Peretz. Jenna Jacob. Leah Lipsy. Alexandra Josephson Herman. Aliza Desau. Malka Marmer. Ayelet Deutsch. Ayala Cohen. Devora Schwartzman. Yadira Holzer. Raheli Top. Miriam Rosen. Mindy Schwartz. Karen Newrochelle. Mira Kozlow. Yael Arshadnia. Yael Bernstein. Rebecca Strauss. Ariel Tellis. Racheli Hoopster. Mikhail Raskis. Madison Schechter. Ahava Smith. Natanya Stein. Yehudis Levine. Rachel Slater. Pearl Goldman. Jennifer Silverman. Yael Green. Erin Sharma. Devora Melman. Joanna Kozlovsky. Dina Merwis. Ilana Legary. Jennifer Grad. Golubchuk. Melanie Chutsky. Samantha Blum. Dina Hershey. Tova Greenberg. Daphna Becker. Inbar Boca. Sherry Goldman. Hannah Budnitz. Ariel Pitas. Natalia Rothman Lehman. Rena Cheser. Chaya Menashe. Eliana Scheinfeld. Lital Yerimi. Hannah Bender. Shira Feen. Batsheva Brunswick. Ilana Kiselensky. Batya Schreier. Ellen Chase. Rahel Hirsch. Aderet Liss. Adriana Friedman. Lior Levy. Hannah Morgenstern. Rachel Lalonik. Yael Gelman. Yael Saban. Talia Sainoff. Rena Weinberg. Stephanie Felder. Jenna Fox. Michal Algie. Dina Edelman. Yael Bauman. Jory Holloway. Lily Jacobs. Rebecca Kersner. Jessica Sabade. Avon Oyon. Leah Ajdam. Netta Chezik. Yael Eisenberg. Nechama Nerin. Rebecca Lax. Tali Redlich. Samantha Carl. Kinneret Braun. Lauren Ibagi. Ariel Oken. Miriam Pearl Clark. Golda Aharon. Aviva Cantor. Sarah Leora Wiener. Yael Jessica Mayer. Miriam Zami. Shani Hava. Noah Wolowitz Pfeffer. Hannah Bricker. Sarah James. Gabriella Ben Hutta. Diana Yakubov. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we're going to start the Susan Kasavi. Yitzi Frankel. Christine Hennessy.
We're going to hand diplomas to the graduate students.
Charlie Barricos.
Just
Rachel Lebwall. Libby Michelson. Joe Bednarsh.
the men and women of the graduate schools.
Continue. Mindy Jarosowitz. Seth Botnick. Timothy Rosanus. Harold Markowitz. Zor Rothman. Rochelle Ginsburg.
Xinjiang, 乐于
Miriam Keene. Angel Ortiz. Natanel Bracha. Elahanan Morisef. Jason Cohenbush. Abraham Ginor. Brandon Hyman. Yonosh Malo. Nicole Amoris. Fernanda Sendejas. Fanny Francesca Bertos. Natalia Budaginita. Abigail Sachs. Kelsey Mozart. Shoshana Kuch. Jessica McGrath. Eva Susan Varghese. Lizette M. Morales. Jordana Feliz. Biana Nikki Padovani.
思成，敏白，易凡思，宜人王，泽浩章，志杰徐，杨洋王。雨辰， 浩宁珠、胡景轩、伊奇瑶、Ringaswamy Srinivasan、西鹏程、瑞奇王、孟同孙、
Congratulations, undergraduate women. Please take your seats. Graduate students, congratulations. Please take your seats so we may proceed. Mr. President, the undergraduate men of Yeshiva University.
Jesse Joseph Salver. Michael Yom Tobian. Jacob Stern. Ben Freed. Nice try. Charlie Friedman. Michael Klein. Joshua Blicker. Joseph Jeff Ohana. Rotem Ben Simone. Rafael Hizami. Benny Besalel. Morty Tomboski. Joshua Brian Perlman. David Cutler. Itai Gutman. Matthew Rosenberg. Ari Barrett. Danielle Margaretin. Jesse Margaretin. Gabriel Gutman. Matthew Statmauer. Jake Ratzker. Jack Gantrow. Michael Berg.
My grandson.
Noah Adelsberg. Hananel Yosef. Manny Dahari. Ariel Shalom Raphael Rafi. Yosef Yecheskel Hasid.
You can take a picture with them over there. You can take it over there, but you can't block the...
Joseph Robin. Ariel Aminoff. Benjamin Weisberg. Avi Cohenzadeh. Gideon Turk. Oh, Gideon. Brent Weinberg. Yisrael Snow. Shmuel Reichman. Louis Adis. Morris Sitt. David Spiro. Alicia Rosenwasser. Ike Salem. Rafael Ilarslan Angel. Moshe Zippel. Daniel Shub. Joseph Aronoff. Yaakov Weiss Faraci. Nathaniel Elkayim. Eitan Unger. Mordche Isaac Rosenfeld. Ethan Stern. Levi Sada. Joshua Cohen. Joshua Rube Okanina. Omer Ruviv. Yosef Karendian. Yoav Arjang. Shmuley Goldis. Rafael Ben-Shabbat. Daniel Fedida. Alberto Isaac Batesh Hakim. Baruch Gralnick. Jonathan Singer. Daniel Estrugo. Maxwell Abraham Profeta. Daniel Turgeman. Jonah Rudansky. Mordechai Weiss. A. Alexander Friedberg. Herzl Ginsburg. Yaakov Telles. Max Kirschblum. Noam Liss. Amram Amsalam. Isaac Beletsky. Joseph Salomont. Jonathan Shlomo Beitner. Evan Jaffe. Eli Well. Nathan Feifel. Ellie Mammon. Aaron Goldmeyer. Jacob Bork. Joshua Shilowitz. Avi Marcus. David Simpson. Jared Rutner. Shmuel Garber. Moshe Ephraim Bencher. Ian Hawk. Chaim Rosenzweig. Yehuda Fogel. Beryl Gold. Stephen Wexler. Ethan Samuel Gibson. Ariel Felsen. Menachem Pollack. Moshe Lahner. David Reich. Jonathan Schwartz. Yehuda Melman. Akiva Garfield. Joseph Sawalski. Donnie Aronson. Aaron. Max Alexander Jacobson. Yossi Wagshall. Daniel Dilamani. Jeremy Levy. Nati Shavolian. Alan Yom-Tobian. Harry Ohana. Liam Shapiro. Randy Atias. Yigal Elmaleh. Moshe Gelberman. Yehuda Greenfield. Nathaniel Paley. David Fatakov. Zachary Itamacho Berger. Ellie Ganauer. Max Hoffman. Ryan Radas Shore. Avi Lent. Zev Litwin. Yair Strackman. David Rubenstein. Abraham Wine. Aryeh Corman. Mordechai Grunside. Shalom Azar. Akiva Mandel. Daniel Goll. Samuel Wurzberger. Nathaniel Piskin. Joshua Rabanapur. Jason Ilulian. Avi Rabinovich. Eliezer Weinstein. David Beer. David Lauer. Betzalel Rosenwasser. Yoel Schreier. Aaron Gookman. Shimon Nyren. Joshua Kasovitz. Daniel Stroh. Moshe Weiser. Jonathan Nebenhaus. Peter Sentry. Joseph Zumo. Elon Shore. David Aronson. Avi Schechter. Benjamin Pfeiffer. Shai C. Kamenetsky. Aaron Braun. Augustin Siegel. Adam Brodsky. Benjamin Lehman. Roni Sugarman. Ephraim Meretsky. Dove Levinson. Mayor Friedman. Zach Sturman. Saadia Tuckman. Jacob Siegel. Yisrael Maevsky. Mayor Finkelstein. Joshua Kaufman. Benjamin Steinberger. Abraham Gale. Levi Malmut Salvaggio. Go for it. Oh, wait. Avraham Amon. Zach Shane. Stephen Cohane. Benjamin Keene. Elon Rottenberg. No? What was it? Elliot Heller. Akiva Rube. Jonathan Reutenberg. Abraham Shalom. Ezra Miller. Benjamin Goldman. Aaron Ashita. Izzy Friedman. Effie Wagner. Spencer Brash. Jared Bachner. Avi Borgen. Ellie Deitch. Marty Spewak. Ariel Reiner. David Mandelbaum. Adi Seener. Moshe Papier. Joshua Bach. Joshua Stavsky. Jonah Stavsky. Jonah Zuinam Torag. Avram Nachum Glazer. Eitan Lindenberg. Michael Teichberg. Aryeh Helfgott. Joseph Banyak. Jesse H. Silverman. Avi Strauss. Ralph Patesh. Isaac Lipsky. Zachary Spiro. Alexander Deitcher. Dector. Austin Rosen. Max Herzagi. Maxwell Toon. Eliezer Lefkowitz. Joseph Leviaden. Towel, right? Michael Towell. Yonatan Merzadi. Gabriel Gross. Donnie Steinberg. Yehuda Somer. Israel Ben-Parat. Robert Zarinsky. Joseph Brian Jubis. Oh, come on, Josh, wear your sunglasses. Joshua Deutsch. Hunter Earl Sandler. Alec Salutsky. Yoni Annenberg. Jonathan Glicksman. Jonah Stromer. Brandon Barrett. Jacob Burgle. Donnie Fuchs. Yoshua Zerman. Last but not least, Binyamin Zerman.
Thank you, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Just a minute. Just one more minute. Okay. In keeping with academic tradition, we now ask undergraduates receiving a bachelor's degree for the first time to move the tassels on their caps from right to left. We all ask everyone to rise, please, for the benediction, which will be given by Rabbi Yaakov Glasser, the David Mitzner Dean of the Center for the Jewish Future. Rabbi Glasser's brother, Moshe Aryeh, graduated from the Azrieli Graduate School of Education and Administration at last week's commencement ceremony. Then please remain standing for the singing of Hatikvah, which will be led by cantor Eric Friedman.
Thank you so much. Yeshiva University class of 2018, you are about to embark on an extraordinary journey of personal growth and global impact by choosing to spend the past 4 years of your life immersed not only in the enriching world of general education, but within an institution that frames that endeavor within a larger context of devotion to Torah growth. You have made a commitment for life. Ze hayom asa Hashem nagila v'nismicha bo. This is a day, hayom asa Hashem, created by God, nagila v'nismicha bo. Let's rejoice in its embrace. You have made a larger commitment, a commitment to continuously engage the world as you have up until this point with sophistication and nuance, a commitment to live this multifaceted identity defined by our president, Rabbi Dr. Ari Berman, as our 5 Torot, and a commitment to the future of the Jewish people, to be an active player in moving our history forward towards our ultimate goal of Geula, of redemption. YU is not easy. Its expectations and opportunities were overwhelming and also exhilarating. But you are prepared for a world that is not easy, and you are prepared to engage it with complexity and with passion. You cannot and you will not do it alone. You will always have your rebbeim, your mentors, your professors, and each other. But most importantly, you will always have the Ribono Shel Olam, the master of the universe, who is your most important and central guide to living a life of sanctity and nobility. Mazel tov on this incredible accomplishment, especially to my brother, Dr. Moshe Glasser, who along with his fellow graduates from Azrieli, represents the best of our community's future in Jewish education. Yehi ratzon milfanecha, may it be God's will. Shetishre shchinoscha al maseh yodeichem, that he manifests his presence in all of the efforts of your life, that no matter what you choose to do, God is an ever-present reality in your tefillah, in your Talmud Torah, in your workplace, and in your constant ambition to bring this world to an era of Geula Shlema, of ultimate redemption. Chazak ve'ematz, and Mazel Tov.
Graduates, please rise for the Hatikvah. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing. Mr. President, the commencement exercises are now concluded.
Will the audience please be seated? Please remain seated while all those on the stage, all of these participants have left the room. Take President, Chairman, and honorary degree recipients who are still here are leaving. The administration and alumni are now leaving. The graduates are now leaving. Ladies and gentlemen, please be very careful getting home. Thank you for being with us. Chag Shavuos Sameach.